Thank you everyone for being here. Especially thank you to you, Bindo, for the class, and very happy to have Prasad here, who's also going to chant this morning. So that's lovely. In a little bit, there'll be a link posted up above with the document, with the mantras, with the Sanskrit, the transliteration, and the English. So I'll get that up there soon. As usual, we'll have the hand raising and the chat off during the class, but it'll get opened up again when Bindu is done presenting, and then we can all have the opportunity to discuss and ask questions of him regarding to today's class. And lastly, there are replays in this house for various classes, including the first 5 classes for the Taitareeya Upanishad that we're on right now, and some other classes. And then also there's beyond that more replays of classes, both that occurred here and in other venues that are on Bindo's YouTube channel called Advaitic Talks, Advaitic ending with an I and a C. And the link to that's also on his profile. So we're very glad you're all here. We hope also that you'll participate if you wish in the Q&A that comes directly afterwards. And I'll just turn it over to you, Prasad.
गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आन शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् महागणपतये नमः। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्गमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरि ॐ शिक्षां व्याख्यास्यामः वर्णस्वरः मात्राबलम् सामसन्तानः इत्युक्तः शिक्षाध्यायः सहनौ यशः सहनौ ब्रह्मवर्चसम् अधातस्य गुंहिताया उपनिषदं व्याख्यास्यामः पञ्चस्वधिकरणेषु अधिलोकमधिज्योतिषमधिविद्यमधिप्रजमध्यात्मम् तां महासगुंहिता इत्याचक्षते अधादिलोकम् पृथिवीपूर्वरूपम् द्यौरुत्तररूपम् आकाशः सन्धिः वायुः सन्धानम् इत्यदिलोकम् अधादिज्योतिषम् अग्निः पूर्वरूपम् आदित्य उत्तररूपम् आपः सन्धिः वैद्युतः सन्धानम् इत्यदिज्योतिषम् अधादिविद्यम् आचार्यः पूर्वरूपम् अन्तेवास्युत्तररूपम् विद्यासन्धिः प्रवधानम् इत्यदिम् अधाधिप्रजम् माता पूर्वरूपम् पितोत्तररूपम् प्रजासन्धिः प्रजननगुं सन्धानम् इत्यधिप्रजम् अधाध्यात्मम् अगराहनुः पूर्वरूपम् उत्तराहनुरुत्तररूपम् वाक्सन्धिः जिह्वासन्धानम् इत्यध्यात्मम् इति महासगुंहिताः य एवमेता महासगुंहिता व्याख्याताः व्याख्याता वेद सन्धीयते प्रजया पशुभिः ब्रह्मवर्चसेनान्नाद्येन सुवर्गेण लोकेन यश्छन्दसां वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽध्यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्याम् भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय आवहन्ति वितन्वाना कुर्वाणा चीरमात्मनः वासागुंसि मम गावश्च अन्नपाने च सर्वदा ततो मे श्रियमावह लोमशां पशुभिः सह स्वाहा आमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा विमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा प्रमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा दमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा शमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा यशोजनेसानि स्वाहा श्रेयानवस्य सोसानि स्वाहा तन्त्वा भगप्रविशानि स्वाहा समाभगप्रविश स्वाहा तस्मिन् सहस्रशाखे निभगान्ध्वैमृजे स्वाहा यथापः प्रवतायन्ति यथा मासाहर्जरम् एवं मां ब्रह्मचारिणः धातरायन्तु सर्वतः स्वाहा प्रतिवेशोऽसि प्रमाबाहि प्रमापद्यस्व ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Thank you, Prasad. नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शांति मंत्रम्। ओम शन्नो मित्रस्यं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शं न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। So we are today doing to 9th and 10th Anuvakas sections. So in the previous section we saw that Om iti Brahma, Om iti idagum sarvam, Om ityadanuhriti atmavan avyaprasaraye syasravayanti, Om iti samani gayanti, Om shagum sati sastrani sagam santi, Om ittadhvaryu pratikaram pratikranati, Om iti Brahma prasaudi, Om ityanu grihotram anujanati, Omiti brahmana pravakshannaha brahmopapnavadidi. Brahmai vapnodidi. So this was on the Om symbol upasana, with which the knowledge of Om, which is representing Brahman, is given as a tool for meditation, and through the Saguna Upasana of Om, the Chitta Shuddhi can be achieved, and the Nirguna Upasana, Nirguna Prapti, Brahma Prapti also can happen. That is possible. But for that, just doing the Upasana alone is not enough. So it emphasizes the performance of various duties. This is the place where a lot of people have got confusion, in the sense that will there be a, activity for a Brahmajnani or those who are in the following on the Brahma Upasana. Upanishad very clearly says that a student may attain the knowledge of Brahman by meditating on Om, but must on that account should neglect there are responsibilities along with the studies of Veda. It is put in a small crispy word called Swadhyaya Paravachanecha. That is the word which is used. We will get into the depth of the meaning, but let us see what is the 9th chapter says that. Rutancha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Satyancha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Tapascha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Dhamascha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Shamascha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Agnayascha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Agnihotramcha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Atithayascha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Manushamcha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Prajacha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Prajanascha Swadhyaya Paravachanecha, Prajati Cha Pradvaya Paravachanecha, Satyamiti Satyavacharati Tapa iti tapo nitya paurusishtihi, Swadhyaya Parvachane eveti nako maudhalyaha, tadvidapa. So, we have now seen that every word is followed by Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. What does that Swadhyaya Pravachanecha is indicating us? It is telling us that the Swadhyaya, the word Swadhyaya means studies. It is study by oneself, is Swa Adhyaya. Swadhyayo Adhyayatevya is a word instruction from the Veda. Those who are studying Vedas, Adhyayatevya, they should also teach what they have studied. Then only the Swadhyaya becomes complete. Swadhyaya means self-study or studying for oneself. Both the meaning can be taken depending upon the compounding of the word. It is self-study when he does a study by himself after the learning from the teacher in the form of mananam. But when it is being taught by the teacher, he is now learning it for his own benefit because he has a responsibility of teaching this to others. So, Swadhyaya Adhyayatavya. So, for Adhyayanam, the teaching and propagating the teaching, that one has to do that. Now, does that means only subjects which are being taught? No. This is where the confusion is getting removed. All the list of things which has been mentioned in this chapter are responsibilities as a brahmachari or as a student who is studying the Veda, who has to perform this while studying and he has to pass on the nature of these things to his students when he becomes a teacher. That is why when it becomes pravachanacha. So then he has moved from swadhyaya to pravachana. Pravachana means to propagate the teaching. So swadhyaya pravachanacha means in both learning from the teacher, then making the what you learned of your own, then becomes, if you are convinced about the learning, you practicing it. So learning and practicing it becomes swadhyaya, and then comes when you become the teacher or when you are propagating the teaching, you get into pravachanacha, into pravachana. Pravachana means to propagate or to address and speak. Both the meanings are there. So the first word is ritancha swadhyaya pravachanacha. Now we heard this word ritam in the Shanti mantra itself, and it has come in before also. What does the word ritam here stands for as? It is the social duties as a student and as a teacher, dharmic, based on dharma, whatever is being done. It is a right understanding of both the duties and responsibilities as a student and a teacher. While understanding the duties is one aspect of it, he should not dilute it in any form, either for understanding or for teaching. For that purpose, the next word comes, satyam cha swadhyaya pravachanacha. So he has to be truthful to what he has learned, and he should be truthful in while teaching. So ritam, satyam, both put together makes the total picture of swadhyaya pravachana as far as the teachings are concerned. But is that all enough? No, says the Upanishad. There is tapascha swadhyaya pravachanecha. Austerity or tapas, it is to be taken as a devotion to the Guru, devotion to the Veda, the Vedic Devata, and devotion to the Brahman. When that devotion, not only in the form of mental attitude, but in the form of attitude with sincerity and act of dedication, samarpana bhava. When one does that, then it becomes tapas. A tapas, the word meaning austerity can be anything. But in the case of a student who is learning the Veda and who is now becoming a teacher, has got austerity of a different nature. Not only he does follow the ritam and satyam, in his tapas, what he has to do is to contribute to the dedication and adherence, so that those who see him as the teacher understands the importance of learning and teaching. Now just these three, ritam, satyam, tapa, are at the performance level. For the preparation level, there are also requirements. It doesn't come just by default because you want it in your mental nature or you have a commitment to it. This attitude towards austerity, truthfulness and dharma doesn't come by itself. For that, the qualities are dhamma, shama. Dhamascha swadhyaya pravachanacha, shamascha swadhyaya pravachanacha. These two are the things which he has to nurture from the time he enters the Gurukula. That is the time when he is being taught what is Dhamma and Shama by the teacher. Dhamma means sense control, the external and internal sense organs. We all know Paranchigani Vitranat Swayambhu Tasmat Parang Pashyadi Na Andaratman Kaschid Dhiraha Avrta Chakshu Amrutattu Michan Pratyagatmanam Aichat. So the sense organs are always looking for objects. It can be external objects or internal objects. Gratification is possible only when the sense organ involves in engagement with the sense objects. This gratification can lead one into overindulgence. And overindulgence brings in laxity and neglect towards the learning and teaching and duties. Because if you cannot control your senses, use the senses for the purpose at the right time and the right place at the right amount. All the three has to be done. Then only it is control of senses. Otherwise, senses are like, Indriyani Hayanahu. Like the horses, what the Bhagavad Gita said, no? Manapragraham evacha. It is the mind which can control them as a bridle for controlling the senses. That is why Shamascha Swadhyaya Pravachane comes. Shamaha is the control by the mind of the sense organs and controlling itself. Both has to be done by the mind, because mind is such a tool, the most powerful tool given for us. It is Brahmana Koshosi, Medhaya. So that Medha is what is now coming to operate as the Shama here. Because it is the one which can cover what we are learning without divulging the intricacies of the Vedic language and Vedic teachings and the intent of the teacher. Because the mind wanders around and we are never able to understand what the teacher is conveying unless the mind is under control. And it is the same mind which is required after learning from the teacher what is the mind control. The teacher also teaches how the mind can be used to control your senses by Viveka and Vairagya, by the knowledge of what is permanent, what is impermanent, what is right, what is wrong. And Vairagya is Vigataraga, mind detachment. Now detachment from attachment. The sense organs by default are always attracted and attached to the sense objects. So to detach from them, it is not possible for the sense organs, because they by default are attracted towards the world of objects. An eye, when it is open, it cannot nothing but see. But seeing is not an issue. But getting attracted by the vision and then indulging in it is what is the problem that happens with the vision if it is not controlled by the mind. Same way with all the sense organs. So both Dhamma and Shama, sense organs and mind control, are required for the student to practice the Ritam, Satyam and Tapa. Without that, Ritam, Satyam and Tapa cannot be practiced. Then comes to the practicing of daily duties. Agnayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Agnihotramcha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha. Now these are the two couplets here again. Maintenance of sacrificial fires. Agnaya is a plural word. There are, as I told you, there are different Agnis for a Grihastha. or even the Guru, when he is running a Gurukulam, he is also showing and teaching the Agnihotra, the karma, how it is to be done to the students. Also the yajnas, different yajnas are also being taught there by Yajnashala and doing the ahutis, etc. So there are different Agnis for different purposes, and all these have to be maintained. Therefore, Agnayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha. Not only you should learn how the Agnis have to be maintained, created, how it has to be maintained, and you should also teach them to your students. Not only that, Agnihotramcha. The performance of the Agnihotra ritual, which is Ajivanantam, Agnihotram Kuryat. Once you start lighting the Agnihotra as a Grihastha after with the Sahadharmani, then till the death, the Acharya with the Sahadharmani is supposed to maintain the Agneyaha, all the Agnis, and the Agnihotram has to be performed as a daily duty. Dinam, Ajivanantam, and till he dies, it is to be done. Now the exception comes only when he takes it to sannyasa. After becoming sannyasa, he doesn't have to do it. Till then, Ajivanantam, he has to do this Agnihotra. So, Agnayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha, Agnihotrancha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha has to be understood, Swadhyaya and Pravachana. And you have to also teach them to the students. Then comes Adhitayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha, Manushancha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha. Now, these two are Atitayaha. Atiti, plural is Atitayaha. In your lifetime, you may have so many guests visiting your ashramam or your Gurukula, and their hospitality. How to welcome a Atiti, how to treat an Atiti. Atiti means host, guest. Atiti means guest, you are the host. So how to welcome a guest, how to do the proper rituals for welcoming him inside, how to take care of him, how to meet his demands, how to make him happy, and how to him see of goodbye. All that comes as the Aditayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha. If you remember the Kathopanishad, when Nachiketa went to Yama's palace, Yama was not in town or not in the palace. So it is his Sahadharmanis or his wives or the queens of the palace who did the Aditi Satkara and Puja. But he remained outside saying that I will wait outside till the Grihanatha comes or the Yama comes back. And when Yama came back, he understood that this boy has been waiting for so many days, and he welcomes him, takes care of his tiredness, takes all this thing, and then tells that now you have been waiting for 3 days, ask for the 3 boons, whichever one you want you can give. See, this is the Aditi Puja which has been demonstrated in the Kathopanishads for us. So that is what is the Aditayascha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha. Not only that, Manushancha Swadhyaya Pravachanacha. People need not come to you as an Aditi. Surrounding your ashram or surrounding your Gurukula or your residence, there will be humanity as a social living, supporting the society. It is your responsibility to maintain the harmony and the paropakaram, that helping each other, and how these type of mutual cooperation can help the society mutually interdependent and feel the brotherhood between themselves. For that also, that Swadhyaya Pravachanacha, you have to learn how that the Guru is doing, learn what Guru is doing, learn from him, then so that you also practice it, and then you sometimes may represent the Guru and do that And later when you become a grihastha and become this thing, then you have to do it yourself. Then comes prajacha swadhyaya pravachane prajanascha swadhyaya pravachane prajati swadhyaya pravachane. Now the three goes together. Prajacha swadhyaya pravachane, begetting a progeny for yourself. How to make your vamsha or your clan progress in the lineage. For that, there are rules and regulations. It is not like animalistic tendencies that in the Veda, the sexual acts are prescribed. There are restrictions when the couples can get into intimacy, the dates, the time, the period of the month, all these things have been very clearly mentioned in the Dharma Shastras. And for getting a son, which is the method in which you have to get a daughter, what are the methods you have to follow? Everything has been very clearly mentioned in the Dharma Shastras. And if somebody is not following that, he is going against the Ritamcha Swadhyaya Pravachane, the first one. He is not doing as per that. So, for your own propagation of your own progeny, Prajacha Swadhyaya Pravachane is what is that thing there. Prajanascha Swadhyaya Pravachane is what I told, that the procreation part, how the copulation to take place, when, which day, how, etc. All are mentioned in detail. In India, please understand, there is no taboo in discussing about sex or the need for sex and progeny. It was open and there was no taboo among the Vedic period, and we have even temples depicting the different sexual acts which are available in the Kama Sutras, because Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are the four Purusharthas. So the Kama is not only sexual act, Kama is the act of every sense organs. But it includes the sexual organ also. So the Prajanascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha is the prescription for procreation. Prajati Swadhyaya Pravachanecha is not only that, it is about your grandchildren, so that the lineage continues beyond your son or beyond your daughter. For that, what you learned, what you practice, have to be taught to your next generation, so that they also practice it to their children, so that in the grandchildren that can be passed on. And if there is any doubt, the grandchildren can freely go to the grandfather and ask. There was no restriction on those things in the olden days. So, Prajacha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Prajanascha Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, Prajati Swadhyaya Pravachanecha, all these things are regarding the lineage being carried forward. Satyam iti satyam ratidaraha. Now, Ratidaraha is a name of a rishi who has been practicing Satyam, is everything. So he said Satyam iti. That means the highest duty is truthfulness, according to Ratira. So he says that Satyam is out of all this what has been taught, Satyam is the highest duty. Satyavachaha tapa iti. Now there is Satyavacha, who is the Paurushishti. Purushishti is Apatyam or son, who is known as Satyavacha. His name itself is Satyavacha because he is described as whose words are ever truthful. If he says something, it comes to reality. To that extent, he has identified himself with truth. He is a embodiment of truth. So, he has been named as Satyavacha because his words, when he utters, becomes a reality. Tapo nitya iti, whoever is in the tapas, swadhyaya pravachane, in the swadhyaya pravachane, whoever has been adhering to tapaha, we saw that, satyam tapaha and satyam tapaha, and in the tapa, austere measures to is the one which is the highest duty, as per whom Nakaha, another Rishi's name, and is the son of Mudgala. Maudgalyaha means Mudgalasya Patyam Puman. Maugalyaha. Nakaha is the name, Naka, not Naga. Naka means is the name of the Rishi who says that tapas is the supreme most. And he says that Tadvidapa Tadvidapaha. He says that the tapas alone, he repeats it, is the means for achieving that. So, the three rishis, the power, the Satya, what you call, we have the Ratitaraha who is saying Satyam, and Paurishishti, son Satyavacha is the one who says Satyam, and we have Naka, the son of Mudgala, who is saying Tapa is the highest duty to be performed. Now, if you look at this, the Tapa has got three aspects of it. Not only Tapa, Satyam and Tapa, Satyam and what we call the Satyam and Satyam, Tapa and Satyavachari Tirha Prajapati. Satyam, Satyavacha, Paurishishti, Tapo iti Tapa, Magdalyaha. All these three. So, in that there is three varieties of karmas which are adhered to this thing. Para upakara karmani is a sattvika aspect of it. Para upakaram. For the benefit of the manusham cha swadhyaya pravachanecha. In that we heard that, we discussed about it. Where the society per se should be benefited. And this is the actions which can accelerate spiritual growth, because it is a sattvika karma, paropakara karma. Then there is mediocre karma, para udasina karma. That is, I am interested only in the welfare of myself, but I am not interested in the outside world. That is a selfish type of people. And this is a mediocre, or you can say that Rajasic type of people, and it is called para udasina, means neglecting the para. Udasina means to neglect. Para udasina means neglecting others but only for himself. So he is called a hypocrite in the Vedic language. Then para apakara karma. This is a tamasa category of people who will do that. They will not only do for themselves, but they will do things which will harm others by, telling lies, cheating others, and taking away, which is not duly for him, all those things. So this, as per Swami Chinmayananda, the first category, the paropakara karma, who do the benefit of the society, is called a God man. The one who does for himself, he is called a man. And the one who does the harm for others, he is called an animal man. That the nature in which their behavior is concerned. So, but a karma yogi who understands that all these swadhyaya pravachana should take him to the Parabrahma Prapti, by the other upasanas which we have learned in the earlier sections. So those things are what are adhered to by those people. Now coming to the Agnihotram and other activities in the yajnas, there is Deva Yajna, Pidra Yajna, Rishi Yajna, Manusha Yajna and Bhuta Yajna, the Pancha Yajnas. This is called the Panchaya Maha Yajnas. Deva Yajna is the regular worship of Devatas during the Agnihotradi and around the surrounding that also. There are other yajnas which are for the Devatas. Pitru Yajna has got two aspects of regular worship of ancestors and regular ancestors who are not dead, that is living and dead. Both have to be worshipped by rituals. The Tarpana Shraddha are the two type of worship which is done for the departed souls. Whereas for the living souls of the ancestors who are living with you, you have to take care of them for their well-being, their food, shelter, clothing, shelter, because they are not able to perform any of the activities. So you will have to do Agnihotram on their behalf because they are not physically fit to do that. And you have to do all that they are supposed to do for their thing. Not only you do for yourself, you do it for your Pita, Pitamaha, etc. ancestors. That is called the Pitru Yajna. Then Rishi Yajna. The Rishi Yajna is that the indebtedness to the Rishi who taught you and who represented all the Rishis, Paramarshibhyo, from the first Rishi who gave out the teachings of the Vedas and Upanishads. From them, all the Rishis have to be taken into consideration when you represent them, the study and scriptures transmitting to the generations to generations. You are doing the yajna for the Rishi Yajna. This is where the Swadhyaya Pravachana actually comes into fructification. Sometimes it is called the Rishi Yajna is also called the Brahma Yajna because Brahma is the first Rishi. From Brahma, it is the Vedas came. Tasva Nishyasvitavyam Rijveda Yajurveda Samaveda. In the Brihadaranya Upanishad, we will study that. So, it is also called Brahma Yajna. Then there is something called Manusha Yajna. Services to the community and humanity in general. This is not in the form of any yajna, but in the form of services. So in this, there will be active, what you call, what you physically do for the well-being, like digging wells, creating, rest houses on the highways and traveling and en route on travel, etc., where you can do that. All those things comes under Manusha Yajna. Then comes the last and the fifth one is the Bodha Yajna. All the creations surrounding you, non-human living beings, that is animals, birds, trees, everything which is in the environment for the protection of the environment, that is called the Bodha Yajna. So, you are not going to destroy the surroundings for the purpose of the yajnas. When you want the Samit for yajna, you have to also ensure that there are enough trees around your surroundings so that the trees are plenty. You do afforestation, you also do cultivation and all those things, and thereby you will be feeding the birds, animals, everything from this process. So you will be using the brahmacharis for the purpose of assisting you. You will be not only teaching them. So it is a total package of living as a community with all these things put together. So this Panchayajna, Mahayajna also has to be taught to the brahmacharis so that when they become the teachers, they will be doing exactly what you demonstrated in your life as a teacher, and they will also do the same thing when they become the teacher, not only for themselves, their society, their family, and propagation of the teaching to the generations to come. So now comes what you call the 10th Anuvaka. Now 10th Anuvaka contains a statement by a illumined sage describing his spiritual experience. Now when you do this is where we will see that they are yadyatajarati shreshtas tastadevedaro jada sayat pramanam gurude lokastatanu. In the Bhagavad Gita it is that yadyat acharati shreshta. The shreshta means the one who is looked upon. Here the teacher and the one who has learned the Brahmajnana through his studies and his upasanas and who has taught this to his students. Now he is describing his spiritual experience. And the Upanishad and our teachers say that this mantra of the 10th Anuvaka should be a daily recitation for a seeker for attaining the self-knowledge and for the purity, making progress, and finally attaining the knowledge of Brahman. This is a mantra everyone should chant on a daily basis. Not only it is the experience of the realized one, but he is also a what you call a tool for the seeker to invoke those experiences in oneself. So it is Paravidya Upasanam, is known as Paravidya Upasanam. So we saw the Aparavidya in the previous one. Now is the Paravidya Upasana, where Aham Vrikshasya Reriva, Kirti Prishtam Gireriva, Urdha Pavitro Vajinivas Swamrdamasmi, Dravinagum Savarchasam, Sumeda Amrudokshitaha, Idi Trishangur Vedanuvajanam. Very small one as far as the number of lines are concerned. So what does it say? If you look at it, you will find that Iti Vedanuvachanam. The following is the Vedas, the declaration of after the attainment of the knowledge by Trishankur Vedanuvachanam, by the Rishi called Trishanku. Iti Trishankur Vedanuvachanam, last sentence is to be taken as the first. Trishanku thus spoke or thus gave as the declaration on attainment of the knowledge. What did he say? Aham reriva vrikshasya. I am the sustainer. Aham reriva means sustainer. Vrikshasya. The vriksha here is talking about the vriksha of creation. If you remember Bhagavad Gita, Urdhvamula Matashagam Ashwattam Parahuravyayam Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Sa Vedavit. So the Vedavit, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, same way Vedavit Vedeva Bhavati. He becomes the speaker of the Vedas, or he is the personification of the Veda. So he says that Aham Reriva Vrikshasya. I am the sustainer of the word of the tree of creation. Kirti iva prishtam girehe. Prishtam. Girehe, prishtam means girihi means the mountain. Prishtam means the peak. The kirti is my fame. My fame is like the pinnacle or the peak of a mountain. It can be seen from all over the creation can see that, because he is in tune with the creation and he is the sustainer of the creation. That is the experience he has. So he feels that experience is also bringing him fame, not as an egoistic fame, because he is a sustainer. Everyone looks up to him for the sustenance. Therefore, he is like the peak of the mountain where everyone can see him. Urdhva pavitram asmi. I am pavitram, means pure. I am absolutely without any kalanka or any blemish, because I am not doing it for myself. It is in the form of manusha yajnam or deva yajnam, pitru yajnam. All the 5 yajnas I am doing it. Therefore, urdhva pavitram means, urdhva means absolutely, or without any doubt. Pavitra means pure. It is without any doubt I am pure. Asmi, I am pure. Swam amritam, auspicious and immortal, is iva vajini, like vajini. Vajini means the sun. The sun is auspicious and immortal because there is never sun is setting. There is no diminishing of the sun. It is immortal. And it is auspicious because everyone worships sun as soon as the first rays of the sun touches on the skyline. So it is considered to be auspicious and immortal. Swamamritam and iva vajini. Swavarchasam dravinam. And it is the way, because I am sustaining the vrisham, the wealth is effulgent in me. In me means in that form in which he is identifying himself. Swameda, because of this sushtu meda, that is omniscience. Here the word sumeda is that intellect which is making me have the experience of omniscience. Amrita akshita, free from the death and decay. Amrita means without death. Akshita means without decay. That omniscience, like the sun, which is never diminishing, I am effulgent wealth, shining like the golden sun for the creation. That is the experience of the Brahmajnani, of having achieved his experience after doing the upasanas and the saguna upasana. All of them are saguna upasana. And saguna upasana itself is the one which will lead you to the nirguna Brahman. There the upasana becomes useless because there is no guna. The saguna upasana will transport you and land you in the nirguna avastha, and that is the time this experience becomes your experience. There is no me separate from that. So when he says aham vrikshasya reriva, means he has become Brahman, because Brahman is the creator, the sustainer, which we will learn in the following sections of the Upanishad, from which everything comes, in which everything remains, into which everything dissolves. That is it, is what Brahman is. And that Saguna Rupa of Brahman is what is being done as Upasana. And when that is being done, he experiences that immortality, omniscience, and he is Now, from sharing this experience, he is being looked upon by the students who also want to experience the same immortality and, effulgence and omniscience. So therefore, this mantra, aham mrishasya reriva, kirti prishtam gireriva, urdhva pavitro vajiniva swamratamasmi, dravinagam savarchasam, sumedha mritoshhidaha, iti trishangor vedanuvachanam, iti trishangor vedanuvachanam. This is how the 9th and 10th Anuvaka is being done. In the 11th Anuvaka is a validatory function being conducted by the teacher while sending off those who have now become teachers, wanting to achieve the same experience of the teacher by doing the same 5 yajnas, pancha yajna, and all these agnihotradi, and the saguna upasanas which have been mentioned from Vyahriti upasana to Samnita upasana to Brahma upasana, Hiranyagarbha upasana, and all these upasanas are for Chitta Shuddhi, and Saguna upasana will lead you through Chitta Shuddhi to Nirguna Avastha. So, please understand, Shankaracharya has never decried Karma Kanda. His commentary, if somebody has read, he will understand that he has given even the word Vishnu for the Saguna Upasana. He has said all the other Saguna Upasana like Hiranyagarbha Upasana, Brahma Upasana, Virat Upasana, Samhita Upasana, Vyahriti Upasana, all those things he has recommended for people to follow, because all these karmas are ultimately leading you to Chitta Shuddhi, and in the clear Chitta only knowledge can shine. And it is ultimately the knowledge which is a remedy for avidya. That nobody is denying that. Vidya, avidya are antidotes. For avidya, the only antidote is vidya. So that there is no dispute by anybody, whether it is Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita or Nastika, Astika, doesn't matter. Shankaracharya very clearly has prescribed in the Siksha Valli and in the beginning of the 2nd chapter, he is handling all these things. When we go to the 2nd chapter, we will go word by word of the Bhashya. But here we have to understand that he is recommending all these activities for the purpose of where you have Sumedha, that omniscience out of the clarity of the mind, and where you don't have any kalanga or anything, you will be Urdha Pavitra. It means absolutely pure in your mind, intellect, and your activities. In your actions, controlling your senses, controlling your mind, everything will be taken care by this process. This is why it is very important for us. Why I took the Siksha Valli, many of you would be wondering why wasting time on this, on the upasanas and other thing. Let us go straight away to the 2nd chapter. No, we will not be able to land where we want to land if we go straight away to the 2nd chapter. It will be taking off with a booster rocket without landing gears. So let us not do that. Having understood this, now what is the teacher's advice in the validatory function? We will see it in the next class. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami satyam vadishyami tanmamavadu tadvaktaramavadu avadu mam avadu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Thank you so much, Bindaji. I did just open up hand raising in chat, and anyone who would like to come up to discuss their questions, doubts, thoughts about this particular class or the earlier ones in this Upanishad, please come up. And also just for people who might be new, so that you know, there is a general Advaita Q&A at the same time in this house, 8:30 p.m. IST on Sundays. But that was beautiful, Bindaji. I think it's becoming more and more clear how important this first chapter could really be. I was also thinking about questions that Prakash and Venkat have asked you in earlier classes on this Upanishad, related to practice and, just what most people would think of as the practical side of the path. So, thank you so much. I see Summer's come up. First, let me just give an opportunity for anything Prakash would like to bring forward, and then I'm very happy to see you, Summer. Anyone else, raise your hands. Thank you again, Bindaji.
Namaste, Hari Om Binduji.
Namaste Prakash.
Today's class also has a lot of very interesting details about how one aligns one's own livelihood, culture, and also one's own mental makeup before, and you talked about the samadhamma, which is the 2 steps in, I've heard in Vivek Chudamani. So I wanted to link it to the previous class. You talked about, the various states of the beginning of dhyana. So here you've brought in a lot of integrating factors about coming from the Vedic framework, which is very, very essential to understand because a lot of the language comes from there. So I'm just wondering, can you, for an outsider perspective, can you highlight a little bit more on once the student is aligned with all the principles of the Vedic, yagnas and Agnihotra and all that states, what does the student aspire to see as progress? When you say samadhamma, what are the signs of progress one sees in one's own endeavor? This is my question. Yeah.
Thank you, Prasad. The Dhamma and Shama are not only for people who are in the Vedic practicing or Upanishad or studies of spiritual practices. This is something which should be basically taught in every school, preferably in the teenagers or before they enter the teenagers, so that they know their body, they know their weakness or vulnerability of the sense organs, potencies. All those things becomes clear if the teaching of Dhamma and Shama has been done as a requirement for basic human development. Unfortunately, nobody, neither the family, nor the school, nor the curriculum, nor the system gives any importance to that. On the contrary, we are all becoming victims of advertisement campaigns by, taking care that each of our sense organs are given the maximum taste so that we become addicted and we become victims of the advertisement campaigns. How to use our sense organs? What is the role of the mind playing for controlling the mind, and how to control the mind itself? These two are the most important for a successful human being, not only in the spiritual path, but even in the ordinary life. And how do you see the progress? Whether you are in the spiritual path or in the mundane life. If you do not fall victim to temptations, why does there so many scams and, other cyber crimes and things like that are happening today in the world? Because we are all falling victims for temptation. This temptation by the mind is triggered by the visual feeds, what they are giving us, making false things to look like real. And without judgment, nothing comes free in this world. No profit can be, unduly large. All those things can be understood if you had control on your mind. And same thing applies in the spiritual life also. The spiritual progress can be sensed by the individual only. It is not an external yardstick with which you can measure it. You becoming a more peaceful person, more tolerance to the world outside, more tolerance to, people who are talking ill about you or making fun of you or making, life miserable for you, your reactions. All we can do is measure our own reactions. The reactions are from the mind level. And when we know that we are not tempted to react, is the sign of control of the mind. That is where one can say that I know what is being done to me, but I am not going to react because I know the reason why I am being, pinned or even triggered or tickled for reaction. This happens in the clubhouses many a time. I've seen this happening, but people are not ready to accept that they are being triggered for reaction. Without knowing that, they fall into prey for that, and then the argument starts. All this can be with your control if you know how to control your mind by Shama. And for which you should know how to control your sense organs also. Because sense organs by themselves have no control. Only when an intelligent mind is behind the sense organs, the sense organ becomes intelligent. Otherwise, they are unbridled horses. It can run in all 5 directions and you will not be able to control them. So that is where the Shama and Dhamma is measured, and you can know it yourself. You are the judge for yourself. And if you fall prey for it, make sure that you learn from that mistakes, and every mistake is a step for learning. Don't repent on a mistake. A mistake is a yardstick for that you have to still improve, and use it as a stepping stone for improving ourselves.
Thank you very much, Mindoji. That was very beautifully put together. Thank you. Thank you.
Summer?
Yeah, actually, thank you, Bindoji. I came up on the panel to thank
Thank you.
and to really offer my oblations to you. But now I have a question. The question is that, like you just now explained how one should be, but tell me, as a person who has realized the truth to whatever extent, what remains is it compassion for people who don't understand? What I'm actually trying to ask is, Bindoji, the people who know the truth and when they see others in ignorance, is compassion a form of attachment again, or does even the compassion go away, or the compassion will stay? That part I wanted to know.
If it's a real experience and knowledge, tolerance and compassion goes hand in hand to a one who has succeeded in attaining this knowledge. If he is not able to do that, or if he demonstrates anger, intolerance, and things like that, doesn't mean that he will be available for getting bullied. That self-protection can work. But, as I told you in the clubhouses, that, without knowing that you are being dragged into a controversy, you enter it. But the person who is aware of it will not enter for a controversy. Second thing is that even if a controversial thing, that he will withdraw from that, saying that he has no interest to get into a controversy. So he is not going to hurt other people. At the same time, he is guarding himself. Both you have to guard yourself, and at the same time, you can't be oppressive or invading into others by showing intolerance or impatience and lack of peace within yourself. That is the way in which a person who has realized will be performing.
So, just for a little more clarity, so these are the qualities that you said of a realized being it would be, but I still have a little more clarification, which I need a clarification. So the tolerance and compassion which will be in a person, that is okay to have, or is that a guna again? What I'm trying to say, even a positive emotion like tolerance and compassion, would that be still considered as a person still stuck in the realm of experiences? Because again, compassion and tolerance is also some sort of a feeling, right?
Yes, you're right. It can be there even for an ordinary person. But he is a person of swatik nature who is moving towards a spiritual learning. Whether he is doing it intentionally or not, in his practice, he has achieved that. So such a person may not be in the spiritual path, that he will have tolerance and compassion. But that is the thing which we will all like to have everyone to develop, no? Doesn't mean that the person who doesn't have tolerance and, patience to be a victim for our anger and tolerance, because he is not, doesn't mean that we should lose our temper on such a person. No. So it is knowing that spiritual experience is different thing, but for a person who has had the spiritual experience, the tolerance and patience, love, peace, all those things comes naturally. It is flowing out of him because he sees himself in everything. So when you see yourself in everything, how can you be angry at somebody else? When you see yourself in everything, how can you not love something? So that goes without asking, that will be the nature of such a person. But love and compassion need not be the yardstick for his spiritual experience. The reverse is not true.
Yeah. So now my final question for now. So this part also got cleared. Now the final thing is, so if into realization, if a person is reaching to a state where he realizes what really illusion is, everything is an illusion, or it's just a maya, or it's just a illusion, then if a person has got realized to that extent, the tolerance and compassion would also be some sort of a still a streak on it, right? Technically, shouldn't the person become completely like detached from everything, like even compassion? And though that would be the way to go about, and yes, it would reflect as love and compassion for the most of the time, or till up to a time, But then once completely a person is realized, wouldn't even tolerance and compassion go away? Shouldn't it become completely colorless? Or where am I going wrong here?
Obviously, when you get up in the morning or when you are planning to go out to your thing, you will be combing your hair and making it decent enough for going outside. Now, can I say that you see your hair as separate from you and you are doing it because otherwise public will not recognize you properly, or they will scold you, or somebody will scold you. You don't have a love towards your hair, but you are doing it as a requirement for the society. Now, this is for our normal life. Now, a person who has identified himself as himself in everything, what he deals with others is neither love or compassion or anything. He is becoming natural to his own body. But the person who is not him, looking at him, feels that he is having love and compassion. From his point of view, he doesn't call it as love and compassion because he doesn't see himself others separately from him. To have a love, he is neither attached nor detached, because na dveshti na kamshati. Why? Because he doesn't see anybody other than himself. So either there is anger towards anybody nor love towards anybody. So he is seeing himself in everything and everything in himself. Such a person, others will call him as compassionate, loving and all those things. From his point of view, he is being natural.
Now I get it. Yes, thank you, Bindoji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste, Bindoji.
Namaste, Srini.
Thank you for the fantastic session. So I think the way you ended your session, it was very this thing, as if those were the exact thoughts that were like going in my mind, because so many times in the ninth Anuvaka onwards, every upasana is like saying Brahman, and I think in the ninth one, probably clarified here Brahman refers to Virat Purusha, but after that in 3-4 everything is Brahman. So yeah, I knew that you also said earlier that in the second chapter introductory bhashya things will get clarified. So that's why I didn't come up last 2 sessions, because I know those are mostly wait and watch kind of things. So yeah, I think really interesting. So yeah, it confused me a bit, because yeah, Omkara Upasana is Brahman, and especially this one, when last class you told 11th Anuvaka is Paravidya or something, then I was looking for, I think even today's session I am a little bit in the middle, I think, but I was just looking forward to next session. I'm sure that will be beautiful clarification, that everything will come out kind of thing. But anything at this moment, if you want to add anything to this whole confusion or something, please tell it. Otherwise, I'm willing to wait. I'm sure it will be clarified in the next class.
I think, is there anything to be clarified? I think I clarified everything, no? So, is there anything which is unclarified? Then you can be specific on that.
Yeah, this thing only, like in each Anuvaka, like Omkara Upasana, now once actually when you said Brahma, I was thinking it is Chaturmukha Brahma or Hiranyagarbha, because the words are also sometimes. So what is, for example, last class's Omkara Upasana, is it when we say Brahma Upasana, is it referring to Chaturmukha Brahma or the Brahman or Saguna Brahma? So basically these kind of things, maybe because of the words, and sometimes the suffix of Saguna or something is added, sometimes it is just said Brahma. So in that way, actually, basically.
Okay, got it. Okay. Why, if you look at the progress of the Upanishad, I don't think anybody would have thought the way in which it is progressed and brought us and left at a juncture before going to the second chapter. Can't you see a progress through which a student is being taken handheld by the Upanishad from the gross level of Samhita where is a mere word jointing. Now, having reached the 11th Anuvaka, where we knew that para, aham vrshasya reriva, kirti prishtam vireriva, urdha pavitro vajiniva, somartamasmi, swamedhaya. So when it comes to that, now you look back. If you are that and that Brahman, you were that all the time, but without knowing that, the words became important to you. So you were told the words are better. Now joining the words, you will get the prajananam. All that, like that, you were handheld by the Upanishad, taking step by step to the, the Omkara Upasana. And where the Omkara Upasana, it is mentioned, Om Ididagam Sarvam. There, it is in the form of Saguna Upasana, because Sarvam can come only in the Saguna, because the creation is in the Saguna. Now when he comes to the 11th Anuvaka, when he says that, Aham Vrishasya Reriva, now he is now at the threshold of becoming from Saguna to Nirguna stage. He is experiencing both. That omniscience is because of that. At the same time, he is saying Kirti Prishtam Gireriva, Urdha Pavitra. All those things are showing that the Saguna aspect also. So the one who has now meditated and come up to this level is sitting on the threshold of the Nirguna Brahman and looking towards the Saguna Brahman and the creation. So that time is the time when Upanishad is taking us to the second chapter to realize that Satyajnanamanandam Brahma. Brahmavid apnodi param is the way in which it will start. Apnodi param is, apnodi means reach. Param, Brahmavid. Now till now what you have got is Brahmavid. Now Brahmavid apnodi param is the first statement of the second chapter. What does it say? Brahmavid, one who has become Brahman or one who knows about Brahman, apnodi param means he reaches param, means he reaches param Brahma. Right? So that transformation can take, then the next statement is Satyajnanam Anandam Brahma. So when we go there, we will learn it. But you have now been pushed and brought it to the threshold where you are going to experience through the Saguna Brahman the Nirguna Avastha, where Satya, Jnanam, Anandam are the three words, and how the three words will transform you beyond the words is what we will learn in that particular aspect of it. I want you to hold your breath and wait for the second chapter to begin.
Yeah, it's really like that only. The situation is like that. I think, like you said, the gross to subtle, I was able to follow till Virat. That's why I remember that Anuvaka, where clearly I think, I don't know if you read from Bhashya or you said that here Brahma denotes Virat. But then I was expecting such kind of mapping for the next few Anuvakas. I was looking for it, but yeah, that's it. But now I think, yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Vinodji. I think the way you clarified it, it's fantastic. Thanks for this explanation.
Thank you, Srini.
Welcome,
Namaste,
Ben.
Vinodji.
Oh, sorry, Ganesh. Go ahead. Definitely.
No, it's okay. Namaste,
Namaste,
Vinodji.
Ganesh.
I have missed the last one, last lecture. I'll go through the replays. But today's session again has brought a lot of clarity. I feel, to put it in few words, the entire Siksha Valli, that is these 10 Anuvakas, is a journey from Saguna to Nirguna, I feel.
You're right.
And And the steps described in every Anuvaka is fantastically clear, but at the same time, more so it appears, as you said in one of your lectures, how much time has passed and what is the remaining time and what has to be achieved. And all those questions keep coming. None of these steps has been, at least through words, have been visited so far. Now words have guided, and your words have guided us towards those concepts and steps to be achieved. And in our daily life, at least for the practical purposes, especially since I am into teaching, today's lecture has helped how the teacher and the pupil and how it has to be imparted to maintain the heritage, and how both of them reflect each other. Perhaps the entire motto of the Vedic teachings would be that how the essence could be transferred over a period, over endlessly, and that is what is here. And only thing which actually haunt me is the two steps. Is there any place, even in today's life, where Shama and Dhamma are practiced? And is it possible? Even that question haunts me a lot. Because as you said, advertising, somebody has very beautifully put it across. Advertising is an art of creating artificial desires for unnecessary things. So, which is true also. But the whole world is getting carried away by these things. And we are also not exceptions. And the fact is, Shama and Dhamma, is it exclusively an individual's responsibility to follow that, or is it possible in today's world to be truthfully following them as per the Vedic scriptures or Vedic prescriptions? Are there places of this kind anywhere? Is my question, Bindoji.
Ganesh, whether this is Vedic period or not, we are the same from the Vedic period till now. Humanity has not gone through any change. But humanity has lost the control on themselves. What we are made has not changed. We are made from the same stuff. You, me, and everyone is the same stuff. But each one of us approach, because of our differences, because your mind is different from my mind. That is all the difference. That difference is what makes a difference in our life also. If we have been successful in living without falling prey to victimization of sense organs, because we have done some punya karma in our life. That is why we are able to get attracted towards listening to these lectures and knowing the means by which we can guard ourselves and we can insulate ourselves from the sense organs being ransacked by the advertisement and other things. Even today's life, it is possible to practice it. The success will reflect in your spending. If you don't want a thing, why do you buy it? Is the first question which you should ask yourself. Can I live without it? Is it absolutely necessary for my survival, for my living? If that question is answered, and then not that you have enough money or more money or less money, that is a different aspect altogether. I can afford, so I am buying. No, that is not a question. If that is the affordability, that the rich people should be owning the country. But they own only what they think they need to buy. They are buying only that much. Their money has more power to buy more things than that. Why are they doing only that way? They are also falling prey for that. We have money. I want that. I want that. One car is not enough. 10 cars are required. If your house has got anything which you have not touched for more than 1 year, is standard saying, I will give a leniency of 3 years. If you have not used anything for last 3 years, I think you can live rest of your life without that forever. That should be the approach with anything which you have in your life. Whether it is dresses, gadgets, household items, or, I know books. I used to have this habit of accumulating books. And some books, after reading it once, I have never opened it second time. Then one day it dawned on to me, why should I hold all these books for myself in my private room and everything? I donated entire 3,000 plus or 5,000 plus books to a ashram nearby, a library where people come and read books. Because let it be useful to somebody else. If I want, I can always go there and take it and read it and refer it and give it back. Keep it back that somebody else can read it. So I got rid of my collections. I got rid of my, extra dresses by gifting to the needy. Like coming to a minimalistic life, what is required for living only I am now possessing. This not because I want to practice it so that I don't buy things. I don't look for things which are not required for me. That is possible for us, every one of us. And not only that will improve your savings, it will also improve wastage in the world. Because what happens when our time takes over our body, our next generation doesn't value the things which we value. They will all dump it outside or gift it to people whomsoever want it, then give it away. What was a cherished item for you becomes a gift for somebody else by your child. Or sometimes it will go to garbage bag outside or in the municipality depot or somewhere. We won't be bothered about it because we are not in this world. But before we leave, we should make sure that our children will not have the problem of disposing of unwanted things. Before that, we will dispose of things. And that should take care of the way in which we should.
Fantastic. Thank you, Vidhuji. It reminds me of the story of Socrates. He would be standing in a fair from morning till evening, and somebody comes and asks, what have you been observing since morning till evening? And he says only one thing, why there are so many things in this world which I don't want.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Bindoji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ganesh.
So thank you, Binduji. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This was very beautiful. I loved that last exchange. Bindu and I have talked about this a little bit, but all the things that we have and how to relate to them. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for everyone who was listening and with us, who didn't choose to come up. Just looking quickly here, if you're not in this house and would like to join us regularly, you can join this house. It's open to join. And we usually meet at 8:30 on Wednesday and Friday for classes, usually Upanishad, but sometimes others with Binduji leading those, and then have a question and answer with him generally on Advaita on Sundays, also at 8:30 p.m. IST. There'll be a replay of this and other replays of this Upanishad and a couple others, and Nasadiya Sukta and Manisha sorry, my phone glitched, that are on replay in this house, but they're also on replay on a YouTube channel that's in Bindo's profile, Advaitic Talks. And there's some other classes there as well that are from prior meetings on this app and other places. So please consider joining us again on Sunday. Hi, Raj. A few people just popped in and it was distracting me. Nice to see you all. So this is the close of today. Prakash, do you want to say anything? And then we'll let Bindoji close us out.
Yes, I wanted to especially thank Bindoji for this very detailed view of the Vedic framework. We hear about, as an outsider, we only hear about some chants, but here it was completely laid out very beautifully of how one rearranges one's physicality, psychology, and then one's own practices and actions, which is where, the actual training begins. So I wanted to thank Bindoji a lot for contextualizing it so beautifully. Thank you.
Yeah. Bindoji?
Okay, thank you, Atmisha. Thank you, Prakash, Srini, Ganesh, Venkat for questions. And each and everyone in the audience who have not come up with any questions, I'm happy that hope you all enjoyed it. We'll continue the series on next Wednesday and Friday. Sunday we'll have the general Q&A session. See you all on Sunday. Hari Om. Good night.
Hari Om, Mitaji. Good night.
Hari Om.